Hello and welcome to my meditation. My name is Debra Baker and I am so delighted that you have joined us for this little while. And the few birds that are also joining us. Let's begin with a few really nice deep breaths. Breathing a little more deeply each time and exhaling a little more slowly each time. I invite you to get settled in and completely relax your body. Let's do the body relaxation part rather expeditiously today. Honestly, I have been meditating with my guides this morning, and while I know the theme of our meditation, I've not gotten a lot of direction. So we are channeling all of this, experiencing all of this together. So let's begin with our feet and imagine that our feet are just maybe soaking in a nice tub of hot water. And you can just feel all that stress and tension release out your feet. Imagine like all these little trap doors, and with your next breath, all your stress and tension releases out your feet. And then your ankles, and your lower legs, your calves and your shins, and your knees. And now your upper legs. Some of the largest muscles in our bodies are in our upper legs. So just imagine again all those little trap doors. Whether you're sitting or lying down, all those trap doors where your body meets the chair or the sofa or the bed. Little trap doors open up and all your stress and tension just drains out. And now feel that relaxation at your tailbone and in your pelvis. Imagine all the muscles in your lower back let go, and your hips and your lower torso, just everything around your pelvis. They call that the pelvic girdle. Feel it just let go. And now your midsection, your middle back, sides, front. Feel it move up into your rib cage, moving up one rib at a time. Through your rib cage, so the sides of your rib cage, your back, your front, just feel it moving all the way up through your rib cage. And as it slowly moves up one rib at a time, notice it also entering into the tips of each of your fingers and thumbs, moving up one knuckle at a time into the palms and backs of your hands, into your wrists, your lower arms. Again, make sure that your body is in a position where you feel really comfortable and are able to relax. And then everywhere where your hands and wrists and arms are touching something, imagine those little trapdoors come out and you just release the tension. You know, if you've ever had the opportunity to release a buildup of tension, either like if your mom or grandma had a pressure cooker where, you know, as it's cooling off, you take that little weight off the top and you feel the pressure begin to release, or whether you're opening up your radiator in your car, you can see the pressure release by the puff of steam, but then it goes away. So as you are releasing this tension from your body, it's not going anywhere, it's not negative, so don't worry about, you know, causing harm by letting go of your angst. And now feel that relaxation through your lower arms, elbows, and upper arms. And then continuing up through your rib cage to the level of your heart, your shoulder blades in the back. Maybe roll your shoulders a little, your collarbone. And feel it all come together at your shoulders. Maybe pull them up to your ears for a second and let them go down. Back and forward. Roll your head around. This is the place where we store stress and tension. So anything you can do to kind of send some love to your body there so that your body feels loved and appreciated. And then feel that relaxation just move through your whole head. Your jaw, your lips, your teeth, your tongue, and your cheeks, your ears, the sides and back of your head, continuing to move through your face all the way up to the crown of your head. Now let's take another few deep breaths. Just enjoying having our bodies relax, and maybe they're continuing to relax a little more. So we have been doing a series on the promises that are offered in the 12 steps. And the promise from today is fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. So that's kind of twofold, because when we think about being afraid of people, most of us would say, I'm not afraid of people. A few of us would own up to it, but I am afraid of hurting people. I'm afraid of speaking up sometimes when I think that I probably ought to, but am reluctant to deal with the ramifications that might come. I don't like to upset people. I don't like to deal with conflict. You know? So this promise says that fear of those sorts of things will leave us. And we've discussed in other meditations that working the 12 steps is a lot about returning to our faith and trusting a higher power. So when we trust the infinite, the one presence and the one power moving in, through, and as us, we can see that there's no reason to be afraid, because that one same presence is moving in, through, and as everyone else. And I feel like through animals and every living being, through the trees behind us and the plants and just every living being. So fear of people. Let's visualize a white light emanating from our hearts and just kind of filling up our energy fields. And then I invite you to think of someone who's kind of scary to you. I have had some very dysfunctional people in my life, in my past, and two of them that come to mind scared me a lot. I don't know if you've ever experienced the feeling of walking on eggshells around someone, but walking on eggshells is a form of fear. And I'm not saying that, we can heal our discomfort living with a dysfunctional relationship or a dysfunctional family instantaneously by deciding that we trust God. But trusting God, trusting the infinite, is at the root of it. And so I can think of examples, especially once I started working the 12 steps, of having conversations with these people and knowing exactly what to say, or knowing when to say something and when not to. and they lost some of their, I don't know, dauntingness. I became less afraid of them. I think we tend to have some fear about people that feel like they have some control over us. And so let's invite the infinite to come into our hearts and our minds and our bodies and remind us that we are one. We have a direct line to the infinite. The infinite is actually right inside us, and nothing actually has control over us. We can choose to go with the flow of the infinite. We can choose to allow that divine flow to move in, through, and as us, or we can resist it. And we've all seen someone who gave up. If you've watched any kind of sports, like a wrestling match, you can see where the person who is down eventually either gives up or just feels bested. And I invite you to trust the infinite. And sometimes giving up, letting go, is the answer. But knowing that you have choices, and the choice that will help you the most is to turn your life and your will over to the care of God. To recognize that the infinite presence is moving in, through, and as you, always. And so the other part is fear of economic insecurity. And it doesn't say economic insecurity will leave us. It says fear of economic insecurity will leave us. And again, this circles back to trusting the infinite. I have had times in my life when it felt like the money levels were low. I wasn't sure if there's a reflection on my lens. Where, I wasn't quite sure how to pay my next bill. And I discovered the way out of that, because it was when I was a single mom. Something fell out of the tree. Yeah. When I was a single mom, and there was one income or incomes, and they were mine. And so the first thing I needed to do was to get out of fear, because we know what we focus on increases. And so instead of focusing on, oh my God, what's going to happen to us? What are we going to do? I focused on, there is a solution. There is one who has all power. That one is God. That one is the one presence, the one power. And then I let go of my fear. And letting go of fear is usually not a one-time event. Usually it's an ongoing process. And that's okay. And then I had this affirmation. There's this wonderful book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And the book's at least 50 years old. And it has some really excellent suggestions, and it has an interesting perspective on how to work with the universe. And so I turn to that when I'm desperate. And I found this series of affirmations that I committed to memory. And the first thing I would do when I would wake up in the morning is say this affirmation. And several times throughout the day. I had myself trained so that I would, whenever I'd have a quiet moment, it would pop into my head, and I would affirm it. I am one with the infinite riches of my subconscious mind, etc. And that was, I started it in the spring. And by October of that year, I had a job making more money than double what money I'd ever made in my entire life. And within 3 months, I got a $10,000 a year raise. And it was just amazing how well that worked when I focused on There is plenty for everyone, and I accept my share. And you are worthy of abundance and prosperity, whether it's in relationships, whether it is in monetarily or possessions, or whether it's in joy or peace or creativity, creative expression. I was telling a beloved client on Friday about my 10 grandchildren, and she said, "Debra, you are the richest woman in the world." And I said, "Don't I know it?" And I feel like I'm the richest woman in the world. And the thing is, you are too, or the richest man in the world, when you allow yourself to focus on all the many, many, many good things that you have, and not focus on the fear. What if it gets taken away? What if it does? There's a saying, God wouldn't bring you this far to drop you on your head. And while that's kind of a silly saying, I do believe that we are one with the infinite, and it is moving in, through, and as us, creating wonderful lives for us, for me and for you. And so from the bottom of my heart, I wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful week. I hope that you join me again next week, and maybe you share this video with someone else. It is my intention that these videos bless whomever gets to watch them, and that you feel the unconditional love and support and acceptance coming from my heart. So the one presence moving in, through, and as me honors and loves and accepts the one presence moving in, through, and as you. Namaste.